everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I hope you're enjoying the content thus far, and today we are looking at another pouch, case, gadgets, that kind of thing. This is what really excites me about the kind of crossover of magic and gadgetry, and I've always been a big fan of the brand Alpaka for a long time, and I've got many of their sling bags and different things, and they do very small pouches which have featured on my EDC magic video. I kind of looked at the Alpaka sling bag that I have, and then looked at the hub pouch, which is a smaller thing for everyday carry. This pouch in particular is great for kind of close-up gigs, and basically a brief kind of overview of my weekend. On Friday night I performed for my church's quiz night, so we did a quiz night which was raising money for a charity called Tier Fund, and I did two 15-minute kind of stage sets, or kind of two 10-minute stage sets, and so I had a great time performing my kind of parts of my stage show, but also trying to work in new material which my church group haven't seen, because they've seen kind of my normal stuff, so I had to kind of work in some bits that I haven't performed in a long time. That was Friday night, but then on Saturday I did a close-up gig. Now normally at close-up gigs you would wear a suit if you're performing at a wedding or something like that. But this was a very informal, relaxed close-up gig. Okay, I was booked for just an hour, 40 people in someone's back garden. It was someone's 40th birthday, and they had as a theme 90s fashion. So people were dressed up as Britney Spears and all sorts of people from the 90s, which meant that I could turn up not in a suit, but I could turn up in a smart pair of jeans, a nice kind of Oxford shirt, and just perform out of my pockets, rather than kind of jacket pockets. You know, it's just my jeans, my smart jean pockets and things like that. So this provided me the use of this pouch. Okay, this meant that I could bring out my minimalist gear. Now when I say minimalist, I know this is a long introduction, I apologise, but when I use the term minimalist here, normally I like to use the Omni deck, and in this case I didn't use that, and because that would mean added pocket space. So this is kind of like a routine that I've kind of brought everything down so that it uses the fewest amount of things in my pockets. This is still a fair amount. I know there's many mentalists out there going, well actually I just use business cards and a Sharpie. Bearing in mind my style of magic is quite comedic, and I like lots of kind of short tricks as opposed to a longer routine. But anyway, let's dive into this pouch, because this pouch I love. I love the look at it. I love the feel of it. I'll show you it. So we'll use a top-down camera just so you can get a good look at this. So this is the admin pouch by Alpaka. It uses the X-Pact material, which is kind of waterproof. If you're familiar with the 1914's Maverick case, it's used the same. They use the same material on that. Let me give you some of the measurements on the back here. So I think it's about 12 centimeters, being generous in that size. So 12 centimeters by 20. Let's go with that. And at the back, as I've turned it over, this actually has a couple of loops, and they give you a kind of a sling, you know, strap if you want to kind of throw it around your body and use it as kind of like a very small shoulder bag. Not particularly my style. I think when you're reaching this size, it's a bit crazy. But anyway, they do provide that with this case, which is great. On the back, you've got a nice small pocket here, and this is great for carrying any cash. You know, anything that you want to just pop in there, anything small and flat, you can pop that in there. In the front here is a very, very spacious section here, which I've actually just chucked some rubber bands just because I was sorting out something earlier. But normally I keep my phone if I'm not using my phone for anything, pack of chewing gum, any kind of bigger or bulkier item can go in there. So it's a great spacious pocket on the front there. The way the stitching is as well, it provides a bit more space. It kind of puckers out a bit more, which is great. So that's the front there. Now let's actually look at my close-up set and how I've arranged everything inside. So as we open it up, we've got what they call a clamshell opening, which means it opens all the way up nice and flat, so it lays flat in front of you. Where do we begin? Okay, so let's begin with this to begin with. Normally when I'm performing at a wedding, I might use playing cards. Okay, in fact a lot of the time I do. However, in this case I wanted something that I could use for both mentalism and magic together. So what I have here is these. Now these are playing cards, well, kind of blank playing cards, and I've had these printed by makeplayingcards.com. And the reason why I wanted these was I wanted something that I didn't want to have to carry playing cards and business cards, and also I didn't want playing cards that looked like business cards. The most crucial thing a customer or someone who you're performing to needs is your name. So I came up with this very simple design. If you're aware of any of my branding, especially, let me get this out, the advert that in the Magic Circle Convention magazine, where is it? It's extremely minimal. I just wanted to stand out from everyone by not standing out whatsoever. This is probably terrible branding, but let's have a look. There we go. Look, how plain is that? My logo there, and then a QR code to get them to shop online. I just like not having much noise. I think there's a lot of well, actually, let's have a look at Monster Magic's advert. Was brilliant in this. There we go. Look at that. The fastest magic retailer. Yeah, Alex, he knows how to brand himself. I think that's a very, very funny advert. But anyway, there we go. So I like everything to be very minimal and clean and just kind of simple. So I've got these playing cards and these blank playing cards. I've actually got them in playing card, the actual playing cards as well. But I love these, right? And let's just talk about this for a second, because what I've got here is now, if you're after a business card peek and you don't want to put it in a wallet, you want to peek from a stack of cards, but you want a full stack. You don't want to have kind of, some cuts or anything like that. I would highly recommend you check out Spidey's At the Table lecture. I think this is called Connections or something. But he has a great peek that uses the bluff pass. I haven't found anything that suits me better, really, and I use that for this for a peek. So at the moment in this minimalist routine, I will have someone write down not their name but a friend's name. It goes back into what seems to be the center of the pack. I then say to someone, would you be impressed if the top card actually was a prediction and it had their name written on it? I turn it over, I show their name, and as I'm doing that, without going into too much detail, I'm getting a peek, okay? And now I ask 3 fun questions, okay? And some of the questions you'll actually see in the Guess Who routine, so I won't go into those, but I just want to make it fun, interactive. So that's what I use. Now, I do the peek, and then I then go into kind of like an ambitious card routine using these blank cards and their signature, of their friend's name. Yeah, I like the fact that I can use this for mentalism, and I can do loads of magic routines as well. And because they're blank face rather than double blanks, it means I can then do the time travel routine with Jay Sankey's kind of triumph routine, Back in Time, that's the name of that. There's so many you can do, and the great thing is I can then leave them with this card and it has my name on it, right? It has Ian Bailey Magic, so they can then Google that and they can find me, in some way like that. So they just need to know my name. In this age of Google, that's all they need. So I've got that. That's my kind of minimal pack, which allows me to do loads of things, mentalism and magic. And it is kept in this new case that I've got recently by, I think the website is called themindhacker.co.uk. If it's not, I'll put it down here as well. But Tony makes great leather products, and these are just great kind of push, you just push. You can normally use a card case if you want to. I don't. I just like to have it clean, and rather than having to take them out of the pack and all that. And that just fits on your belt. So the belt loop is here, and that will just go on your belt, and you can then just pull the cards out and take them out. So really nice. If I need extra pocket space, I will use this. If not, this is just a case to keep them in. One thing that I do want to give actually is one of the reasons why I bought this case was I use Solo in my act. And if you don't have Solo, Solo is a fantastic music management system by Sam Fitton. It's basically a small thing the size of a deck of cards, and it can go in your pocket or anything under a table. And your prop has an NFC tag on it. So basically, when you pick up a prop and hold it near the scanner, within kind of 6 inches, 8 inches of the scanner, it starts playing the music related to that routine or that prop. Brilliant thing. And so I recently bought that to put my Solo in. I'm aware that Grum leather products, they actually do a Solo case. However, I thought actually if I use one of these, I can use it for both. So I just want to give Tony a shout out with that great product there. And if you're looking for a really small card case that isn't bulky, then stick with this. This is great. So that is that. Now let's open up and have a look at the pen. Because I'm not using playing cards, normally I use Remarkable by Richard Sanders, but because I'm not using playing cards, I've actually got the kind of Vanishing Sharpie by Seth Race. Now, I'm not a huge fan of the entire props that come with it. However, I just actually quite like the fact that I can use this initial stage to make the Sharpie disappear, so that's the first half, and then you can then make it disappear, you know, and then reappear, do whatever you want. So I use a sleight of hand to make the Sharpie finally vanish, but I quite like the fact that you can actually make the logo disappear before you then make the Sharpie disappear. Yeah, I'm using a Sharpie, might as well. Now whilst we're talking about Sharpie, let me also pick out this. I carry this now. This is from Solid and Stretch, I think that's the name, by David Penn, and this is a great way of switching the cap for a solid cap. So when you're taking the ink, the lid off and passing it to them, you pass them the solid cap, which means that then they can't get the lid back on, and then you're able to make anything you know, appear. So you kind of have like a kind of a jumbo load. You can say, oh, there's a bit of dust caught in there, let me chuck that out. Oh, there you go. That's better. So I like to use that with the Sharpie. So that's the Sharpie sorted. Whilst we're talking about that, let me tell you about Balls of Fluff. Now, Balls of Fluff, very, very recent release, and it's very small. When I say a release, it's literally just on my website. But boy, can I say how much fun I get out of this thing. There's another routine called Dust Bunny, and I'll put the name of the creator here as well, so you can type him in and find out. His is the same premise of, I'll explain in a second, but it kind of is like a sponge ball routine. The kind of dust itself, for me, doesn't look too realistic. Let me show you what Balls of Fluff is. So I say to someone, have you ever had fluff caught in your iPhone before and it stops you from being able to charge it? Now when you ask someone that, they go off on like a 5-minute rant about how annoying it is and how it's happened to them several times in their life. You have to kind of wait patiently for them to get that rant over and done with. But you take the phone and you say, you know what, I actually have a way of releasing the fluff, and you can get a big ball out just like this just by blowing on it. And really nice, just random kind of production of this ball of dust. I can then take the ball of dust and then you can just rub it on your clothing and be done with it, etc. But that is called Balls of Fluff. Fantastic routine. Like, it's just a one-phase routine. You can have it and cough out a fur ball if someone brings up the topic of cats, if that does happen. But for me, I just love to have it, show my phone and say, you know what, if you tap twice and blow twice, you can actually pull the ball of fluff out of your phone, and that's how you get rid of it. So that's Ball of Fluff. Love that. I use it with the Sharpie, so you know, the solid cap, and also produce it from someone's phone or my phone. So yeah, Balls of Fluff. In fact, it's only $9.99 this week for 7 days. Okay, I'm going to be selling this for $6.99, so you can pick it up slightly cheaper from my website. So that's a little kind of promotional soft launch for Balls of Fluff. So that's that. Now let's look at this. Let's look at this. This is a little hoodie cord, and this hoodie cord I use for Ring on String. Normally use Ringleader by Greg Wilson, and I also use this to do kind of like a Richard Sanders fibre optics routine as well. So having a hoodie cord actually allows you to it being white as well, allows you to do a ring on string routine really well. And then I say, you know what I like to do is I will explain how I get the ring off the string. I actually secretly cut the string, take the ring off, gather up the pieces, and then I'm able to then restore it again, like so. And so yeah, I love the fact that this hoodie cord, it can allow me to do 2 separate routines. If they don't have a ring, then I can just do fiber optics. If they do have a ring, I can then do ring on string and then lead into fiber optics. It's so good, really, really good. And yeah, that is the string, the hoodie cord. I also, whilst we're down here, have a jumbo ring. Now this is if I have the pocket space, okay. Normally I do, it's not too bad, but I love to just ask people, what would you like me to do with your ring? And 9 times out of 10 they say, oh, put a big diamond on there, and then I just do a spellbound change and produce that. So that's a lot of fun. Now whilst we're down here, I've actually I won't show you the TT, okay. I don't want to be too transparent here in this YouTube video, but I'm sure you know what a TT is, which I use for a bill switch. So I've got a £20 note here, and also a Monopoly £20 note, and yeah, I just use that for my bill switch. So I say, you know, especially if there's kids nearby, I say, would you like to know how to make money? Well, actually grab one of these from your Monopoly set, fold it up 5 times, unfold it, and you've got yourself a £20 note. So that's a great thing. And the thing is, I love the fact that, well, yeah, I love the bill switch. However, no one's carrying cash anymore, and so if you really want to do the bill switch, carrying some Monopoly money with you actually allows you to do the routine, as opposed to going and asking, oh, do you have any money on you? No? Oh, right, okay. Oh, well, you can't see it then. Yeah, you've got that as a backup, which is great. Now let's have a look in the other side. So that's everything in that side of the case. Now in the other side, I have 50p's. This is just a new routine that I'm playing around with, and I've also got an expanded shell, and this is by Mark Mason, and I'm using this for Fistful of Dollars by Greg Wilson. Very, very new to it. I've performed it a couple of times, but just having a couple of coins, you know, 3 or 4 coins with a shell is a great thing that just allows you, especially if you're running, you know, out of tricks or something and you need to fill some time, having a few coins on you can do loads with that. So let's have a look at this as well. Inside here, I carry not sponge balls, but I carry Jay Sankey's original earplugs. Now these are in yellow. The ones he now sells are in white, which I don't like as much. I think growing up on a building site, well, not literally growing up on a building site, but being on a building site, typically 3M earplugs were yellow and they're that shape, so they work really well. I love this. I can ask someone a question, and the question I think I did this in my Magic Circle audition. I asked someone, "Are they shamas?" And they say, "What?" And then you pull out behind their ear a little earplug and you say, "Did you realise that was in there?" It's very embarrassing. Okay, you actually had one here, and oh, you've got one over here as well. And then go into a sponge ball routine. So yeah, these are very rare now actually, and I've got a few left that I've been keeping and just buying whenever anyone's selling them, but I love the ones in yellow, and I carry a couple of those. Also in my stage act, occasionally do the Squeaker Monty routine from Dave McCreary's lecture at the Penguin Lecture. So yeah, really recommend adding that into your sponge ball routine, but that's what I use. I use the earplugs. Let's have a look at the very end, and I carry a little hand gimmick and a 10p coin. Little hand, boy oh boy is that a fun routine. I use that as a faux explanation of how I've done everything thus far in my set. I say, would you like to know how it's done? It's actually sleight of hand. This is what sleight of hand really means, and then I do little hand. This routine actually got me over 16 million views on TikTok. I put up one video on TikTok years ago, and within like a month I had 16 million views on it. It was so funny actually. When I did that, I then had people phoning me up. They say, oh, we're a kind of like a talent agency, or we kind of like, you know, curate videos and then present them to people like Jimmy Fallon, and then he'll search for content that he puts on his show. We love the stuff you put up on your TikTok, and we're excited to see what else you have to offer. And I told them over the phone, that was it. That's all you're looking at. And they said, well, you're surely going to do more. I said no, I don't really want to, just because, yeah, my aim was not to be a TikTok star, and it's a lot of work, isn't it? Social media, as you can well see, because now we're down to 2 videos. Well, 1 video every 2 weeks. But anyway, yeah, it's a lot of work. So yeah, Little Hand, so good, really, really good. It's fun, it's quick, it's visual, it's funny, and yeah, that's that. So that's now the pocket side of the case. We're now going to look into this now. Nest of wallets. I've got the deluxe nest of wallets, the super soft nest of wallets. Can I just say that this is probably the best strolling routine in the world. If you do not own Nick Einhorn's nest of wallets, boy oh boy, is this a good routine. This is so good, and is like zero sleight of hand. It's incredibly easy to do. So I use this as a finale to my ring routine. So I will borrow a ring. I will do Ring Thing by Garrett Thomas. I will then also do the Ring on String. And then I end with this. And this is what I actually have people sign ahead of time. And this is such a fun thing that I've been playing around with recently. I love Out to Lunch, but I just never really found something that just kind of suited me in terms of justifying it for a full routine. So this is what I have them sign. I borrow a ring. Can't believe I'm giving this away. Okay, you being on YouTube here, subscribing to this, I hope it's finally paying off for you. I hope I'm giving you something of worth. So I have an insurance document. I borrow a ring from them and I said, look, I want you to sign this insurance document just to show that I'm committed to getting your ring back undamaged. And it says here, insurance, you will get your ring back undamaged. I say, look, is it in writing? Would you please sign it? Okay, and I will sign it. So I sign it, they sign it. I then give it to them to hold on to. They then let me do stuff with their ring, and then I say, look, and it's come back undamaged, hasn't it? And they say, yeah. I say, have you still got the contract there? You know, just to prove it. And yeah. So then they pull it out of their pocket, and then it actually says what they've signed, okay, at the bottom. It actually says, Ian will swap your ring for a cheaper one. Now, whilst they're reading that, all I'm doing is then loading their ring into the nest of wallets. For years, I was looking at kind of like great ways of making the ring disappear and appear in the nest of wallets, and the simple false transfer is fine and stuff like that. But or using the anything ring, anything silk, you know, by Richard Sanders, I think that's what it's called. Any ring, yeah. Doing all that, and that's fine, and I still use that in my full suit. However, I realised with this, well, once they're reading out that contract, it does not matter what you do with that ring. Just load it into the nest of wallets and just say, okay, I'm going to keep your ring, but I do have a spare one. And if it looks like yours, would you be happy? If it at least had similar diamonds or a similar kind of colour metal, would you be happy? And they're like, oh, right, yeah, that's fine. And then I produce it out of the nest of wallets. So this is great. I'm having so much fun with that. And yeah, so that's the Out to Lunch principle here. And I have that in my Z Fold wallet. And yeah, I think this was a Patrick Kuhn one, Quiver wallet. And then in the other side, I just use this for kind of, not for the Z Fold as such. I just use this for, you know, extra cards, keeping the extra cards in there. And then in here, I keep my one card Monty routine. And this is so much fun. Very, very thin plastic cards. You know, it uses up no space. And there's something about the one card Monty routine that just breaks the ice with people. If people think that you're trying to fool them and trying to get one over on them as a power move, bring out one card Monty, and it's just a lot of fun, just a ton of fun. And they realise you're not taking yourself too seriously. You just want to have a bit of fun with them, which is great. So there's that. And finally, I want to talk about this. This is by no means, I think, in terms of my creation, but I've been wanting to do, and you're probably, and I'm not, yeah, when I say this, I'm not claiming originality for this, and if you do know the original thing, then please let me know in the comments. But I wanted to do Extreme Burn, but obviously now with the plastic notes, although Steve Rose come up with a great kind of remedy for it, it still just doesn't feel the same. And I wanted a routine that allowed me to do extreme burn without having to alter the notes and that kind of thing. So this is what I've got so far. This is what I'm working with. So I have a load of receipts, and these receipts allow me to get cashback or instant money or instant refunds. All right, so what I do is after I bought something, I'll then fold it up like this, get a good fold, give it a shake, and then instantly I get my money back, right? And now I've got my £100, for example, from these receipts. So so that's what I've been using so far. The original method, not sure what it's called, but the original method was actually from like a Marvin's Magic Street set. It came with a shoulder bag and came with fake notes that you flick. So once you fold them, you flick them, and that turns it over and then shows the other notes. But still with the plastic notes, the flicking doesn't work, so I kind of use a shake method, like a 12 change thing. But anyway, that's what I'm working with there. It's not really mine to teach, but I just wanted to show you. And that is everything. So that is everything. So let's put everything back in the case and just show you what it looks like. So quiver is going back in. The nest of wallets is going back in. And by the way, I could put this in the front pocket if I wanted to, but I quite like having one guaranteed pocket that is free for adding other bits in, like my car keys, for example. I'm going to pop that back in, and my ball of fluff, and the TT will go in there in just a moment, but I don't want to reveal that. I think that's too good to reveal. And also my string is going back in. This is just hoodie cord that I brought off eBay. It's great. Now let me pop the things back in there, and then the earplugs. I'm going to pop both of them actually in one of the pockets here. And that is everything in here. And then, oh yeah, some elastic bands as well. I keep elastic bands. In terms of routines, I do Crazy Man handcuffs, and also I do Melting Point by Kashan Wallace, I think it's called. Great routines and just very simple, you know, nice. And there's a lot of clarity to those routines. I don't want to go too deep into the whole elastic band world. But anyway, so there we go. So that is everything in the case. Zip it up. And there you have it. A nice little case just to carry with you, just to put in the car. And if you've got a 1 hour gig or a 2 hour gig, and you know, you can just work out of your pockets, I really recommend this. Obviously, you know, there are bigger cases. You can get nice big ones by TCC. I just wanted something nice and small that I can just throw in the car and, you know, have a good selection of tricks to choose from. So there we have it. That is the Alpaka admin pouch. I will leave a I've got a creaky chair. I apologise for that. It's probably really annoying you. I'll leave the link in the description below, and yeah, you can purchase it there. Really, really recommend the pouch. Once again, Balls of Fluff. I'm going to do a limited discount. The discount code is here. I'm going to put it here. So type that in at checkout. For about 7 days, you'll get that for a couple pounds cheaper. I think, what did I say, $6.99 or something? I can't remember what I said. I've got to look back over the video. Very relaxed video, this, isn't it? Very relaxed and informal. Too formal. Too relaxed, I mean, if anything. But there we go. That is the case. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you liked looking at my minimal EDC gear for when I'm at a gig. And I will see you in a couple weeks' time. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.